Welcome, and thank you for watching this overview of the extended foster care and independent living legislation that became law this year in Florida. This video will offer both a summary of key points in this legislation and perspectives from foster parents and youth on its impact. Let's begin with an introduction from Senator Nancy Dietert, the sponsor of this legislation.
Hi, I'm State Senator Nancy Dietert from Sarasota County, District 28. This year we were thrilled to have two life-changing bills pass in the Senate, the House, and be cheerfully signed by the governor. It's something we all supported. Thanks to the Youth Shine kids who brought us an awareness of the day-to-day life of foster kids and the problems that they were having. So with the two bills, the normalcy bill, I would hope that will change the relationship of foster care. We want that relationship to be more of a family relationship between the child and the foster parents, rather than the relationship being between the child and the caseworker. I think the caseworker should check on foster parents and make sure they're providing a safe environment, but let's show these kids how a real family works. Let's have the involvement of foster parents just like they were regular parents. So that was the first bill that passed, and then the second bill flat out extends foster care to age 21. And I think we're one of only 4 states to be able to afford to do this, and we're happy to do it. And I think one of the most caring parts about that bill is, of course, kids are emancipated at age 18, so they can leave if they want to, but the caring portion of the bill is if life turns out to be not as rosy out there as you may have thought, you can come back as many times as you want. And I think that's a great part of the bill. And people ask me, what are you going to do next year? Because this year was so great. Next year, I'm going to make sure that these are implemented in this, keeping the spirit of the law that we passed. And hopefully, it'll change lives, it'll make lives better for kids, and it'll make lives better for the foster parents too.
Here are the key points of the independent living legislation we will cover in this training. Youth may now remain in foster care to age 21. It allows for youth to re-enter the system at any age prior to their 21st birthday if they choose. Preparation for adulthood takes place in the home with foster parents teaching and guiding life skills. Here are thoughts about extending the age of foster care to 21 from foster parents and youth.
18 to 21 are so crucial, and we have so many children in the system of care that just aren't ready to go out in the real world and run a house and pay bills and work a job and go to school. It's overwhelming.
When foster youth turn 18, they say, oh man, I have to move on my 18th birthday, or I have to look for an apartment or get an apartment. And so for this, it allows foster parents to continue that family style setting. It allows them to continue being that support, and there's no lapse in the support from the one day of being 17 to the next day being 18. And so I think that's important because it shows the foster youth that, it doesn't just stop because of an age. It doesn't just stop because, I've emancipated or grew too old for foster care.
A lot of our children, when they come into the system, they are behind in their education. And to think that a child's going to hit 18 years old, they're going to be still in high school and they have to move out, to me is just doesn't make any sense. So I think they should be able to continue in the home, and we're working with them, helping them to become successful. It may take a while. They may not graduate right at 18. It may take them till 19 or 20, or getting a GED or going to a technical school, but I think it's a natural transition to just keep continuing until they're ready to move out, not that there's a magical date when they hit 18 to go on.
Foster parents want to be able to connect with the youth. Foster parents want to be able to continue caring for kids. They wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't, what they wanted to do. And so I think it kind of sets the standard up higher. It's kind of like a culture shift or a paradigm shift, a way of thinking for foster parents. And so it's something that is necessary.
One change with the new legislation is that youth who did not achieve a high school degree or GED can only be supported if they remain in a supervised setting.
The new legislation is going to help because it doesn't allow the children to leave the system of care if they haven't completed the GED or the high school diploma. They can't leave with a subsidy payment. So that means that it's that we can stop enabling them, because by giving them the money and not the directions on how to spend the money is very it's a disaster.
And these are some ideas about allowing youth to re-enter the system prior to age 21.
One of the things that I feel about this law and the passing of this law is that a lot of foster parents have been doing this naturally. I know that kids have been staying in their house well past 18 years old. They've been coming back. They've gone off to college and started families, and they're still a part of that family. But this law just really helps us to look at all the youth in the system and to address it more from an execution standpoint, let's say, that we're going to create a policy that's going to support foster families and encourage all the foster families to do this and to really embrace the heart of this, which to me is continuing and helping these kids even when they have made the decision to go out and they realize I still need help, I still need supports.
The kids can actually turn around and go back to the foster parent when they do something, when they make a mistake, like if they fail a college class or they can't keep their apartment. They actually have someone to go back to just like a normal kid would, Maybe it's not their real parent, but it would be someone who they look to for support, whether it be financial or emotional or moral support. It's somebody that's there for them.
I aged out at 18, but at 19 I found myself going back home to a foster parent for 6 months, and actually it was the best semester I completed while I was in college because I was living in a stable environment with 2 loving foster parents, all of my foster siblings, and so it helped me tremendously, and I know it can help others.
Even with children, when my biological children, they still are running that same cycle. They go out, they come back. They go out, they come back. They go out, they come back. With these young men and women that go out, they come out and they find out, wow, this is just like they told me, but I really, and they get overwhelmed, and then a lot of them have a lot of pride and don't want to come back. But if that door was open, if that was explained, you can go out, but if it doesn't work, come back and let's retune it. Let's come on back in and let's try and, help you and then get you prepared and go back out. I'm constantly in the business of recycling. My children have 9 children. I can't think of the last time we had one child in recycle mode.
We can help them get back on their feet. We can help them and say, you know what, let's revisit this. What do we need to get? Where do you want to be in 2 years and 5 years, and how are we going to help you get there? And it's just creating a roadmap to success through training, through budgeting, through just being support system for them.
And here are perspectives on preparing for adulthood and teaching life skills in the home.
To me, it seems unnatural for children to learn life in a classroom setting. I think that I would feel my role as a foster parent is to guide a child through a transition of like a preteen into teen years into young adulthood. I would see that as a natural progression in the home, from small chores up to homework and putting an emphasis on education, everything gearing them towards being able to be independent and completely successful out on their own whenever that time may be. I see the life skills training as just being a parent.
I know within our own family traditions we have good teaching skills that we can bring to these children that make it more personable, make them feel a part of a family.
While I was in care, I learned so many things, I didn't even realize that I was learning them, like going to bed on time, your social skills, how do I react to someone that's that's mad at me, if there was another foster kid in the home, one of my foster sisters, maybe she was upset at me. Sometimes you don't always know how to react to that, and those are the kind of things that you learn in a foster home, in a stable home. You actually learn, how to deal with real life situations, whereas compared, go to a training, it's more like you're bringing paperwork back, and it's the same. It's like when you go to classes, you memorize it for the test, and then you don't always remember it afterwards. Whereas if you're in the actual setting and you learn these things, you're more inclined to actually use them.
this law really is going to help us be able to develop these children and help them with skills they need to succeed in life.
We hope this overview was helpful to you as a foster parent. As with all new laws, come rules and practices for implementation. Your CBC agencies and the Department of Children and Families will be providing more direct training as the rules and practices are developed. Stay tuned for follow-up videos as this information becomes available. QPI's Just-in-Time service will provide online training that will aid foster parents in teaching life skills and working with these young adults. Thank you for taking the time to watch and for all you do to work with youth in the system of care.